In Genesis chapter 6, we are very familiar with the story in Genesis chapter 6. It's where we find that God picks Noah to build ark. We know what was God's plan. We know what was happening in God's mind and why did he pick Noah. But we want to gather our attention to very, very interesting portion of scripture in Genesis 6. And when we start reading Genesis 6, the scripture says that God looked at earth and he was sad about how much sinful the people on earth got. He was sad about the same very people that he created in his own image had left him and moved away from his presence. And when God was looking, he found Noah. And God says this in chapter 6 of Genesis, verse 8, says, "But Noah was different. God liked what he saw in Noah." I'm reading from Message Translation, and Message Translations puts it this way, that Noah was different and God liked what he saw in Noah. And if you try to put this scripture in a context of what is happening in Genesis 6, which is that Noah was different than every single person of his time. He was different from the community around him. He was different from the group of people he probably used to hang out with. He was different from a group of people that was living around him, from his neighbors, from his friends, from his colleagues, from his co-worker, from every single person around him. Noah was different, and God noticed this thing about him, and rather chooses him to accomplish something that nobody in his time had ever did. That nobody in his time did. What God chose him to do was unseen, was unthought of in Noah's time. So many times we despise our unique qualities. So many times we despise the gifts that God has poured in our lives, and we try to confirm it with the things that is seen around us or the things that is heard around us. And in order to confirm ourselves with the community and with our colleagues and with our friends, we give up and we despise the same very gift that God has given in our lives. And we try to accomplish the visions and dreams by despising what God has for us and by adopting the things that are never meant to be ours, but we like it, we want to have it because those things looks very attractive, or those things in our mindset brings greater result or greater reward. But that's not true. The reason God picked Noah just because he was different. God did not despise his quality of being different. God does not despise the fact that he is unique. God does not despise the fact that he is different from everybody else. In fact, the word says God liked what he saw in Noah because he was looking for someone who is different in his generation so he can use him to accomplish the things that have never been done before. God decides to choose him to do the things that nobody can even imagine. Not even Noah's family can imagine. Nobody, even his colleagues, his friends can imagine. But God made it possible through Noah just because Noah was different. One of the other very interesting things that we can find in Genesis 6 is God did not decide it's gonna be Noah until he started to look for someone to pick to do the things that he wants to do. Genesis Chapter 6, starting verse 5, I'm reading from Message Translation, says this: God saw that human evil was out of control. People thought evil, imagined evil, evil from morning to night. God was sorry that he had made the human race in the first place. It broke his heart. God said, I will get rid of my ruined creation, make a clean sweep. People, animals, snakes, and bugs and birds, the works, I am sorry I made them. And we come to verse 8, it says, but Noah was different. God liked what he saw in Noah. And that's when the call of Noah begins. And the task that God gave him took years for him to do it. But that didn't matter, because Noah was handpicked by God. And the reason Noah was handpicked to accomplish the things that has never been done in the history is because he was different. He did not choose to walk with the crowd. He did not choose to take affirmation from people. He did not choose to conform himself from the ways of other people, because he knew he needs to be different, because he was called to be different and he was made to be unique. And the human race continued. God preserved a whole human race in Noah and his family. Noah became the courier of life. Noah became the courier of God's redemption plan. Noah became the part of God's plan just because he was different. And his time has come, and God is looking for the people who are unique. That God is looking for people who are different, who was not willing to compromise, who was not willing to give up in their dreams, in their giftings, in their calling, just because they want to confront themselves with the worlds around them. God is looking for people who are unique and different, and who was ready to accomplish the greater things through him, same way Noah did. And their names will be written in history. God is looking for a people, the faithful people who will choose, who will enjoy being different, who will like to be different for God, who will be filled with his faith and grace and favor. And that will lead into something greater that no one has ever imagined can happen, that nobody has ever thought of can be done. But God will do it just because some people have chosen to be different.